Okay, let's call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. We have a quorum. Those we pray for today.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight, Lord, and we just ask that you be with us as we try to make the best decisions for the district, Lord. We ask that you be with our students and staff, Lord, keep them all healthy and safe. Lord, we just pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Move on to recognition of our guests.
Yes, we have our junior high student council here today. So I'm going to let them go up and share what all they are learning and have been doing.
And they're very embarrassed.
And Mr. Smith, our student, yeah, you go with him too.
Mr. Smith, either way,
Face
whichever
it.
y'all want to face. Okay.
We're gonna figure it out.
Okay, hi, my name is Heidi Smith, and I'm the president of the SFJ Student Council.
Hi, my name is Grace Katie, and I'm secretary.
My name is Nathan Gagos. I'm seventh grader representative.
My name is Andrew Anderson, and I'm sixth grade representative.
I'm Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the vice president. I'm Brett Hayes, and I'm the historian. I'm Brooklyn Brassfield, and I'm the treasurer.
I'm Andrea Lawrence, and I'm the classroom. It's seventh grade.
We're so thankful to have gotten invited to that. We've done so many things this school year to try to make our school better and more unified to help our community.
So far, we have been to one convention to learn about things to improve our school and help others in our community. One of the main things we did this year was volunteer and assisting the community Thanksgiving dinner. At this meal, we got to show leadership skills and work to serve the community.
We have also done a few fundraisers to raise money. Some of the fundraisers we have done consist of BJ days and hat days. Students pay $1 to wear pajamas or a hat for the day. Another one is the Crush Valentine fundraiser that is going on right now, and the students can pay $2 to give a crushed soda to anyone they want.
In March, we're going to be in a fundraiser called Buy a Teacher. How this will work is the students will pay a certain amount of money. We have not decided yet, and that money will get them tickets, and with those tickets, they will get to put in whichever teacher's buckets they choose. And at the end of the deadline, we will see which teacher has the most, and that teacher will get pie in the face.
Today we got to attend the district convention where we learned about purpose and resilience. We learned to pay attention and listen to others because everyone has a purpose and a voice. We also learned that you receive back what you give. So it is important to spread positivity and kindness to those around you.
This year, our goal is to focus on leadership, unity, school pride, and aiming to improve school culture. We would like to thank Ms. Brown for inviting us to the school meeting today. She has done a very good job this year as a first-year principal, and hope she has many years ahead.
Okay, we don't have anybody signed up for open forum, so I'll turn it over to Ms. Carr.
I'm just going to go over our table report. It was released beginning of January, I guess. No. So in the taper report, it's a lot of information that we've already gone over multiple times. It breaks down all of our STAR data by ethnicity and special populations, so like special education and emergent bilingual students. So we can just kind of flip through them. It just goes through every test and what percentage of kids are at meets, approaches meets and masters. It starts with, you know, the 3 through 8, and then it goes into our EOC tests. I'm not going to specifically go over any of those because it's all stuff we've already talked about. On Kendra, can we go to about slide 37?
in the regular meeting in January.
Okay. Have a recommendation, I have a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Josh, I have a second.
Second.
Second by Doug, all in favor? All pass, motion pass. Okay, regular agenda. Discussion on possible field trip to Oklahoma City by senior art class and dual credit economics.
So Mr. Tracy approached me about wanting to go to Oklahoma City, and just as we've done in the past with those trips that have gone out of state, I asked him just to have a presentation to let you guys know what they were wanting to do. We are going to provide the transportation if you guys are good with them going, and then they're going to do the fundraising, just like other trips have done, had donations or whatnot. So he's going to kind of tell you the trip and why they want to go and the details.
Okay.
All right, so we made this basically proposal for y'all. All right, so we have kind of been thinking the last few months about going to Oklahoma City, to the Oklahoma City Bombing Memorial. Mrs. Walker and I, the art teacher, and then also going and viewing the art museum as well. And we kind of had a few goals in mind. Obviously with the art museum, just kind of expose the kids to different cultures, maybe possibly even other careers that art might be involved. And then obviously with the Oklahoma Bombing Memorial, just seeing how that's, like from the historical perspective, that's not that far away, how that affected us. And then also kind of the same goal there as well, seeing potentially expose the kids to like other careers, like first responder careers, firefighter, EMS, social work, helping people cope with even the after effects of that, and just maybe just any way to expose the kids to like another career or just anything along those lines. And then just kind of a day to have fun a little bit, to kind of take a break, I guess. Multiple goals here. And then possibly we've even talked about maybe using it kind of as an incentive, for the dual credit class in the future with other museums. Mrs. Walker and I, we've talked about maybe Dallas. They've got a Holocaust museum there. They've got another art museum there. And just maybe other museums kind of in the future. And so that's kind of our plan. As far as the budget, both museums have grants that basically pay for us to go as far as admission-wise. And so the art museum was going to be free through a grant that they've got that would pay for us. Bombing Memorial, actually we'd only have to pay for 2 of the teachers. The kids would be free with the grant that they have. And so as far as total cost, most of it would actually be food. I think the total cost I got here was $300, and that was both the admission of the 2 teachers and then the food cost. And as far as fundraisers, candy sale, bake sale, car wash, it's kind of what we had talked about. But that's kind of what we got for this trip. Do y'all have any questions or anything?
It's important they see it.
Just a trip down there and back in one day?
Yes, sir. Yes, it would just be a one-day trip. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's well worth the trip to see that, especially the memorial. Anybody have any questions on this? Concerns? Okay. Well, I have a recommendation, I have a motion.
I'll move to approve a donation in the amount of three.
Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
I didn't even put that as an approval, just for a blessing.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, Pantech's gonna pay for it.
Yeah. Just your blessing.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation.
Well, thank y'all very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Tracy.
Okay, approve the amount of $3,000 from Pantex Federal Credit.
And this is for the Pantex release, their annual donation check.
Okay. Any questions on that? Not, do I have a motion?
I move to approve a donation in the amount of $3,000 from Pantex Federal Credit Union.
Motion by Doug, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trey, all in favor? Motion passed. Okay. Discuss and possible action on the band hall abatement.
So as you know, we have asbestos in the flooring, the manhole, and so we have to get that abated before we can start the renovation. King's Consulting, they reached out for bids, and on this bid sheet, there are 3 different companies that have bid for the abatement project. Of course, you can see the price differences and the amount of days to complete those projects. The reason that the top one is so much cheaper and so much faster is they have a machine that just basically comes in and strips it all at once. And so my recommendation is to go with the cheapest and fastest bid that we have, just so we can get that started, so we can start on the manhole renovation as soon as possible. And then also King's Consulting has added their documents on the cost of them overseeing the abatement process. I think that's another $8,000. $8,600. Okay.
On top of 39.
On top of that, yeah.
Number of days complete, 14.
14 for one of, yeah, 14 for the second one and 8 for the third.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll have a company and then they'll actually oversee it. So the 2 different costs will go into.
King's who we've used before.
Yes, King's who we've used before, and they've been very reliable. They're always the ones that do our air quality tests, and
Right. Okay.
they're pretty reputable.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
Do we have any winner of the bid in here?
Yeah, so when we say it, name the winner of the bid, and then also King's Consulting overseeing it.
Okay.
Is that,
Yes,
is that good with it?
That price, it's the abatement, it's disposal, it's everything all included.
yes, total deal.
Yeah,
So King's there to oversee.
King's will oversee it, and
Oversee
then
it.
Red
Oversee.
River will do the work. Yes,
Good quality.
yes,
Not box this.
right.
Okay. Well, I have a recommendation. I have a motion.
I move to approve the manhole abatement as presented using King's Consulting to oversee the abatement, awarding the bid to Red River Remediation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Josh. All in favor? Motion passed. Discuss possible action on Van Hall roof replacement.
Yes, so Mr. Garrison talked with the insurance company, and the quote, or the claim for the roof was closed. And so we would have to file a new claim if we wanted to do that, and that's a deductible of $250,000. The roof itself is going to be $168,244,000. And so my recommendation is just to go ahead and purchase the roof. I hate to put all the money, $1 million in the Van Hall renovation, and then not have a roof to keep it nice and safe. And the Coriel Roofing, we don't have to go out for bids. They're in text-buy, so we don't have to come out, go get bids for them. And they're the ones, that have done all of our roofs. They've been really good about coming out, fixing things that need to be fixed, checking things. They do checkups, make sure things are good.
Everything they do has a 20-year
Yes.
warranty as well.
Yes, so they're really a good company. Ray Cockburn with Coriel Roofing called me again today and said if we want to call him in the middle of, he's in the church group tonight, but he said if we want to interrupt him with questions y'all have, he'll step out of church and answer whatever we need answered. But I told him I felt good about them and the bid and what they've done for us before.
So with that roof being done, the only one we really have left is the Van.
Just this one, right? Is Van Hall getting done with?
No, that Van Hall's this one, just go by
The
itself.
junior,
Oh, okay.
yeah, junior not getting that roof.
Okay.
Sorry, I threw it in there.
Yeah.
We're in the bad spot.
Junior. Is that what you're saying?
They're not getting the roof right
The
now.
junior high is not?
No,
So this is for Van Hall?
this is just the Van Hall.
Okay, yeah, junior.
They do have it on.
It just says junior high roof instead of band.
Oh, that was my fault, yeah, Van Hall.
Yeah, and here it says Van Holder.
Yes,
Okay, that's-
Okay. Yeah, all right, I got it.
my typing,
I got you.
yeah, sorry. Van Hall.
Okay. I have a recommendation. Anybody have any questions? If not, I have a motion.
I move to approve the manhole roof replacement as presented.
Motion by Josh, I have a second.
Second.
Second by Stacy, all in favor? Motion passed. Okay, moving on to possible action on the district investment policy.
Yeah, and yearly, we're just supposed to reapprove our district investment policy. It's the same policy that's been approved for years. It's the one that's in our policy manual. You just have to actually approve it every year, and this is the time when it's been done. No changes. This is the local policy.
Yeah, the legal's already,
Legal, yes, and this is just the same local that's been in there.
no changes.
No changes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? If not, I have a recommendation, I have a motion.
I move to approve the annual district investment policy.
Motion by Doug, do I have a second? Second by Trey, all in favor? Motion passes. Okay, campus reports. Start with you, Miss Brown.
Yes. So we have our February events, which I feel like February feels empty because we don't have as much going on in February as we have the rest of the year. Our student council did go on their field trip today. Yesterday, our 6th and 8th graders had their RLA field test. However, we went ahead and had the 7th graders do a DMAC test because we wanted to go ahead and make yesterday like a star practice day. There were only like 13 questions on it and 1 ECR, so it didn't take them as long as actual star day will, but I'm glad that we had this in place because we realized there were some issues and kinks that we need to work out before the actual star day gets here. So that was good for us. We've got cheer tryouts that are starting. Our student council, as they mentioned, they're doing a Super Bowl canned food drive to collect food to take to CCS, and that ends tomorrow. And they're doing it's a competition between boys and girls, and so whoever wins, they're going to use some of their money that they've raised to provide ice cream for the winning team. We've still got basketball going on. The boys played in Vega on Monday, and we've got some wins, we've got some losses, but they all play hard. They're all good sports. Track is getting ready to start. We've got our student council crush grams going on. The end of the 4-6 weeks is coming up next week, and we've got our next and final Eagle Rock snack shop that we'll do. So students are earning coupons from the teachers, and then they can present that coupon at the Eagle Rock snack shop to buy some snacks. And with it being Valentine's Day, we're going to do some Valentine's themed stuff for that. We've had 2 lockdown drills, 1 with just staff, 3 fire drills, 1 secure drill, and 1 evacuation drill, and they have all gone as planned so far. We have our January staff and students of the month. We're getting ready to announce, these were our December. January had not been announced yet. We're announcing our January staff and students tomorrow. And then our staff usually gets a gift certificate that has been donated by a restaurant that I've gone around and collected. And so we have Olive Garden for January's. And then our students will get pizza on Friday. We have a new Gaga ball pit on our playground that the kids absolutely love. It's the most popular thing out on the playground right now. They've done really well. I was kind of worried because it's kind of like dodgeball, and so I was worried how that was really going to go over, but they've all been really good sports, and they're being honest about if you get hit, you're out, jump out, next person jumps in. So they've done really well with it. So we really appreciate Mr. Garrison looking into that for us, and our maintenance department putting it up. And then the next slide is just pictures of our basketball players, the cheerleaders. Like I said, that's all going well. Basketball's wrapping up, track's getting ready to start, and cheer tryouts are taking place. The actual tryouts will be on the 11th of February. And then the last thing is our middle of year NWEA data. After kids came back from Christmas, teachers had the students complete that. I was really excited about the growth, not just from the students that we already know are on level and are being successful, but also from those students who are performing below level. Even those students were showing growth. So you'll see that mostly everything is 50% or above, which that indicates that we've got some strong Tier 1 instruction taking place in the classroom. And that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for us?
What?
Much needed.
Dodgeball.
We can make it fun again. Starts here.
It's a really fun
The rubber
game if y'all
ball
ever
thing.
want to come try it out.
It has to be the rubber ball.
Rubber balls, little red.
Not those gator balls.
Okay, Mr. Jones is not here, so we'll move on to Coach Bennett.
Nothing's, I mean, as you guys can see, and you guys probably read, there's not a whole ton going on since our last board meeting. Obviously, our basketball teams are starting to wrap up, and we're transitioning into our spring sports with softball, baseball, track, golf, and getting everybody ready to keep on going in the weight room, along with the million sports, the million directions we will be heading. So created a spreadsheet with every event that is happening, and it was 65 little squares on the Excel spreadsheet. So we have quite a bit coming up here in the spring.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Coach Bennett?
How was Clint?
Clinic was fantastic. It allowed us to not only look at our personnel for the football program and kind of what our strengths are in each one of our kids, but also take a deep dive into what we did offensively and be able to sit around 500 other coaches that run a very similar offense with the same terminology, and to be able to kind of bounce ideas off of what they did. And I truly believe us coaches, we've come to a point where our goal this year is to eliminate any of our weaknesses by creating our system, expanding on our system to eliminate what we have as weaknesses to make us have strengths. So a lot more misdirection this year. And focus on our O-line that's returning that 5-6 starters. So
I don't think the new alignment was unexpected. So how you feel about it?
it was extremely unexpected. I expected a 17 district, but we call it a Texas Football Christmas on February 2nd, and we hit the jackpot. So that was a fantastic district alignment. I thought our schedule worked out perfectly with the teams that we have. We have a handful of opponents that are going to give us a tough game, but we also have a ton of opponents that would give us opportunities to go out and have success, to have a go out and have a positive season. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier with how that worked out. Basketball, pretty much same district, add in Boys Ranch, and then volleyball didn't change. So, overall, for our other sports, stays the same. That just allows us to continue to understand what those teams do and get better. But from a football standpoint, I think that was a huge stepping stone in the growth of our program, getting that district. So,
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
yes, sir.
All right, we'll move on to Ms. Kirksey.
On the finances, we should be setting at 42%. We have collected $7,801,926.93 in revenue, and that's from local, state, and federal. The overall budget is setting at 43.38%, so it's not too
inflated over what our percentage should be at this time. The 11 instruction is over due to payroll and professional contracts. Again, paying off people, and then the yearly contracts that we've had to pay in full has caused that percentage to go up. The next one is health services, which is the nurse, and we had a Region 16 contract payment, and then her restocking her supplies. 34 is transportation, and what put transportation over in percentages is the contracts, mainly bus repairs. We still have them. They're not going to go away, unfortunately. And then the supplies and materials that we've had to buy to repair the buses. In 41, which is the general administration, it is over because of the contracts. We had that payment for the property value study, which was 70-something thousand. And then we also had to pay our audit, which was $1,500 over what we had budgeted because of the attendance calculation that Mark had his third-party person do. It was $1,500 for him to do that, and Mark was so gracious and passed it on to us. So, and then also Region 16 payments, and then the other two is 93 and 91, which is the payment to the co-op for the special ed, and then the payment to the appraisal district. And it's just where the quarters fall, and when we pay them, it makes our percentage goes up, which reflects that. Attendance, I know Ms. Searles will talk about attendance. I do it from the beginning of school to the end of that current month. She does it from the 15th or something, so it's a little different. And I'm also reporting the refined ADA, which basically they take it and look at it and do an average. So we're sitting at 655.045, which was like one less than what it was last month. So, but overall, it's looking relatively well. Do y'all have any questions?
Could, maybe next month, I don't know if you could, Richard showed us one time it was just a pie chart, but it showed a percentage of federal funding, state funding, local funding. So, you may be able to look back and see, I don't know if he left you anything, but if you could figure that out, maybe, if you don't mind. I'd just like to see that again.
And you want it to show the percentages?
Yeah, just between local, state, and federal.
Kind of like what's in the budget one, I presume?
Just overall, what percent, what percentage we're funded by the state, what percentage, every year, so we can just see, if you don't mind. I just want to look at it again. I haven't seen it in a while. It's more out of curiosity with the possibility of how the funding is going to go, so.
And we
You wanna
set
talk
in,
about-
we
yeah.
set in, with Purdue, Brendan, Mont, whoever else they've added, today with Lacey Harris, and she was telling us that the state, that our property values that were submitted were approved, and so I'm gonna run the template, and she said because our values are lower, which we're still confused about that. So the property values we got this year are lower than what they were last year, but they were approved. And by that being approved will mean that there's a possibility we'll get more state aid. And so I will run that template. I kind of told y'all what we were looking at last year when we were doing the budget. And so we'll compare that number with the actual numbers that they've given us.
I was just trying to remember, because I remember in that pie chart, I don't know if you remember this or Stacy, but it had had a percentage, and it had, you put in the percentage of, unpaid local, so it was just kind of giving me, plus me another look to see. I was just curious. Thank you.
Do you want me to go ahead and talk about the quarterly?
Sure.
Okay. So the quarterly is where we have our money for our fund balance and the workers' comp and the bond. And so this is for the year 5. In interest, in the general fund, we collected $139,329.24, which has our ending balance at $2,957,304.52. The workers' comp, we collected $8,742.83, which has the ending balance of $211,688.13. And then on our bond, we have collected $227,886.32, and our ending balance as of the end of December was $3,278,881.30.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any other questions? No, we'll move on to Ms. Carr.
So I was just going to give you all a report about TIA. We are expanding TIA to include every teacher in the district. So that runs a year behind, so that'll actually take effect in the 27-28 school year. I had several meetings for teachers to attend, and then sent out emails with all the information. So in expanding, we had to decide, currently we do 2 observations per teacher. And in expanding, that would be impossible for our admin staff to do. That's 130-something observations. So we did have to decide how we wanted to continue with that, and we offered options of maybe contracting some retired admin people, or just changing it to 1 observation. And the teachers got to vote on it, and they did decide to change to 1 observation. And then we also had to decide how we would do every test but NWEA, which when we expand is most teachers. We have to decide how we would calculate their growth. Currently, we only have about 4 subjects that we have to do that for, but we use half the gap method. And we haven't had any teachers reach those goals because the growth is like 30 or 40 points, which is a crazy amount of growth. When you look at NWEA, the kids have to get anywhere between 5 and 15 points of growth. So the half the gap was really not working out for us. So I presented multiple different ways of calculating it, and the teachers did vote to go with the 4th of the gap method, which is calculated pretty much the same as half the gap. You just divide by 4 instead of by 2. But it made the numbers a lot more reasonable, and so I do feel that we'll have that's attainable for the teachers when we actually go into that. The next one just shows where I surveyed the teachers and how we decided on what we were going to do. The next slide shows how we're going to do our growth. So NWEA tests will be done for all K through 12 ELAR and math, 2 through 8 science and biology. Region 16 puts out some tests on TFAR, so we'll use those tests for 2 through 12 social studies, and then 9 through 12 science, math models, algebraic reasoning, and Spanish. We'll use STEM scopes for 1st grade science. I'm not sure why NWEA doesn't do 1st grade science, but that's the only science it doesn't do. So, and then we'll use a program called ICEV, which has a ton of CTE courses. So we'll use that for most of our CTE courses. And then there's a FitnessGram program for athletics and PE. And then for the fine arts classes, we'll have to do portfolios, which the teachers will go to Region 16 and they'll train them on their portfolio, and they'll make their portfolio there. And basically they just make a rubric. Like for art, the project would be something about shading, which that's not what it's called anymore. It's called something else. But and basically they'll do a project at the beginning, they'll do a similar project at the end, and they'll use that rubric to see if their students have grown in their art. And they'll do a similar thing with like music and band. So the next part just talks about what's going on now. So we actually yesterday got an email from TIA that what we submitted in the fall for last year's teachers was approved. So all of our teachers will get that money this summer that were designated for last year. And for this year, TIA has added another level. So before we had Acknowledge, Exemplary, Master, and they actually added a level below that called Acknowledged. So I put that on there to show you what kind of scores they have to get. So it's a lower level, so that will open up opportunities for more of our teachers to get those And that goes for this year. So they just added it this year, but it's for our teachers that we're in current data collection for. So that's great for all of them. And the next slide just goes over the money. The good news about that, they added a lower level, but they actually pushed all the money up. So the new lower level is the same amount of money as the previous lower level. So, and our teachers generally get, I have those arrows there. Our teachers generally get somewhere between the tier 2 and tier 3 in dollar amount. So, so for example, our master teachers now can earn between 18 and 24,000. I think the highest was 22 the year before. So.
So all the changes that you made for the 27-28 that the teachers voted on with the survey, does that have to go back to the state and be approved?
Yes, so I've already submitted our expansion application. I submitted it last week, but we won't hear anything back about it until like probably September, October. So that's why it takes, everything's a year behind, so we won't even hear back, you know, if it gets accepted, which I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, I had Region 16 check over it and they, you know, said it was fine. So, but yeah, we'll hear back in the fall of next year and then go forward from there.
I just knew you had to submit everything to be approved before, so I didn't know. Since we'd already been approved, do you still have?
Yeah, anytime you change any part of it, you have to submit to.
So if we don't change it next year, we don't have to do it. You don't have to resubmit all of it.
Right. And that's kind of why we decided to add every teacher, because if we're already submitting, you know, why not just submit and add everybody? And that way it's also fair across the district that now everybody has the opportunity to get it. And I feel like a lot of those teachers that haven't been able to get it are pretty excited about it. So.
Yeah, and so, remind me, is 27-28 when it's you don't choose everybody's doing it, or is it this next year?
No, that will be next year. So next year we will go into where our currently eligible teachers will not be able to opt out. So we'll be doing all math and ELAR and then any STAR tested subject next year.
And they can't opt out next year, those, but the others,
Yeah.
like PE and all that, they won't be in it next year. But
Right.
then the next year, no one can opt out, right?
Right. Going forward after this year, every teacher is in
Just trying to
TIA
pick up.
and you cannot opt out.
Okay.
So, I mean, but it's really, I mean, everybody gets an observation, which is, you know, we do that pretty much now. And you have to give pre-test, post-test, or do your portfolio. I mean, it's not really, shouldn't change too much for the teachers.
But, so instead of the 2 formal, and I get why you're going to 1, because it'll be too much, but, I mean, the 1 is where all the data's gonna come from, or does part of it comes from the testing and the 1 formal?
Right, the observation is 50% of their score, and then their student growth is 50% of their score.
And do you want to explain to them about, you know, why we went away from the 1, but then when we talked to Region 16 and how they explained, and we talked to teachers too about advocating for themselves?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that was a concern, because what if you have an observer that, you know, you don't feel gave you a fair observation? We really stress to the teachers that they need to advocate for themselves. Like if there's something that they're doing in their classroom that for whatever reason that day we don't see it, they can tell us about it. You know, like if they're writing in their classroom and we don't see it, they can show us, hey, I've been writing, and we can use that kind of stuff to still score them, because we know that we're not going to see every single thing in that rubric every single day. So they need to be sure and tell us, you know, everything that they're doing so we can take that into account. And also, if they, you know, have their observation and they disagree with it, they can, you know, meet with their observer and go over it and talk it through. And if they're still, you know, unsatisfied, they can request to have a second one.
I mean, that's, you know, you're having a bad day, or some kids are having a bad day, and that's your day.
Yeah, and even we tell them that, you know, even though we've scheduled your observation, we walk in and it is a bad day for you, you've, you know, had a bad day for whatever reason, you can say, please come back later, and we will absolutely do that. We do not, I mean, it's our goal to get everybody the TIA money. I mean, we want everybody to have a good observation, so.
Any other questions?
Yeah, no, we're super excited. It was really interesting too, because I had Stinette reach out to me today wanting to know what are y'all doing? What teachers y'all, because they're starting. Yeah, and so I've directed them to Jennifer for more questions about the things, but you know, they want to keep up with. I know, right? Don't steal our teachers.
Okay. Director of Operations, Kim, do you have anything on
Let me see what his, so he did submit the federal impact grant, which that was what we've been told, the application itself is actually the easy part. It's coming up with the supporting documents, it's the hard part. He has been working on getting all of those documents. He has a meeting with the lady, there's a lady that's supposed to help him try to figure out what documents we need to support with all of that, but he's still working on the process, so. Bus grant, he wrote still pending, but I got good news from Chris, who is the one that applied for our bus grant. We did get the bus grant awarded to us to be able to purchase 2 new buses. The grant is in the amount of $213,442. That covers 80% of the cost of 2 new buses, so we're out the 20% for the 2 new buses. Chris is looking into the details of, you know, certain buses. We're wanting to go gas buses on our 2 new buses. He's got reasons for that, and he can explain all of that. But he's going to look at the details, so we'll be coming back with requests for the difference in the buses. But we're super excited because that's our last 2 buses that we need to finish getting all our route buses.
Go EV.
Huh?
EV buses.
Right. We're making a good deal for that.
Sounds like we got a couple of grant writers working here.
And then construction, I don't know if they've actually started the construction, but did they?
Yes.
I said, I know they got their trailer and all the stuff ready to go, so has it been noisy yet?
It was noisy on our field test day.
Yeah.
But Mr. Garrison assured me they're supposed to be done before start testing, so.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we did have the UIL realignment meeting, which, you know, Bennett was very, very excited. I really got there and watched the chaos happen between all the coaches trying to scramble for games, but Bennett had worked a lot ahead of time, and he already had our schedule mapped out and arranged, and so he really, I think you got to pick up one game. So he was very stoked for the realignment, and so that was an interesting process to see. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go. Okay, so like Courtney said, we did meet with Purdue Brandon just for a little informational meeting today about property value study information, just because it's just such a big thing and it's hard to understand it all. I asked questions, you know, I told you we received documents about the 21 school year and why are we getting that now? And so what we found out today is it's the 21 school year, it's actually an audit, not an appeal. And there's differences in the audit and the appeal. An appeal is when we completely disagree with our values that were, you know, whether they're local or state. And audits, you know, we're having them just double check to see if there's any funding that we can get back. And so we are going to get some funding back. We don't really know yet how much, but that's what Courtney was saying. She's going to project those numbers into her template from the 21 school year, and that'll kind of give us a little bit of an idea of how much we're going to get on the backside. So it's all backside money that we get through the summary finance. But that's a 7.5% charge if they're doing an audit versus a 10% charge if they're doing an appeal, because there's more work in the appeal process versus the audit process. And so we did learn a lot about that today. We were pretty excited when they released the preliminary property values yesterday, and I was pretty excited when I saw that our local values were accepted, which means we're within that 5% range that the state wants you to be. So we're finally there, which means they don't recapture money from us. But like Courtney said, our numbers are lower than they were last year, but she assured us that's a good thing because that means we're going to get more state funding, which we're still trying to figure out why that's a good thing, but she says they'll give us more state dollars.
Because the state fills in
Yes.
from the local.
Yes.
When you get the local first, and then the state
Right.
fills in the rest. So if it's lower, then the state
Right.
gives you more. Because that's why they wanted all the property taxes higher,
Yes.
so they could give us less money.
Right.
But if they're lower,
So
they have to give us more money.
So we're where we we need to be as far as the Hutchinson County and the appraisal, so thank goodness that's, but she did also say, you know, the new legislative session is about to start. The 90th legislative session is about to start, she said, so let's hope that all that, you know, and then also I'm super concerned about the governor, the governor and the lieutenant governor both having their own separate plans about what they want to do with property values. And as a property owner, I understand the need for property tax relief, but as a school superintendent of a school who relies completely on property taxes, it's concerning to see what they may do. So, anyway, more to come, but we're learning a lot about property values. 4-day week public meeting is tomorrow, so I will just be presenting a PowerPoint to the public about the research. I will also share that PowerPoint out for anyone who can't attend the meeting, and then I'll share a survey with both a 4-day and a 5-day calendar and let people vote. That way we'll do a staff and a public survey, and then I'll bring the information to the March board meeting for you guys to be able to vote on the calendar based on the data that we've gathered.
Is it gonna be a question and answer or just the PowerPoint?
They will be able to ask questions on there, and I'll answer whenever I can answer, the best I can. And I'm gonna present it as an informational meeting. I'm not pushing one or the other. You know, for me, I work every day no matter what, so, but I wanna present what I've found to be pros and cons of the 4-day calendar and what we found from other school districts that are finding it successful. Tomorrow I have a meeting, a Zoom meeting with about the bus, the mandated 3-point harness seatbelt system, and what that I have to present a quote to you guys, and then we have to decide as a district if it's feasible for us to put the seatbelts in all of the buses, and that has to be submitted by May, and then the state's going to look at whether they're going to enforce that mandate or not, and who knows if they'll give us money, because right now it's an unfunded mandate, which is really super exciting that we got the grant to help if it becomes a mandate. So that's more to come for that. Elementary school, we received a quote for carpet for the library. We have needed carpet since before I was the principal. It was on the plans when Edie was the principal. The carpet's terrible. We got a quote for a little bit under $11,000 to completely carpet that library, and we're going to go ahead and get that done. It will be one of the last finishing touches of a remodel of our elementary school, and it's going to look super nice. I don't know if y'all have seen the carpet in the junior high office, that it's like the pattern, I don't know how you describe it, but it's like multi-patterns.
Yeah.
So Gina and I picked the carpet, and Frank's is going to get it ordered, but it's going to look good. As soon as, I think in like May 8th or 10th, when we shut down the library book checkout, maintenance is going to start going in there, and we're going to get the library books out and get it carpet knocked out. So it'll be ready for the school year. I reached out to Education Credit Union to ask if they would help donate anything towards our hospitality room for our track meet, and they're going to donate the breakfast for all of the workers and coaches and everybody. So it's going to be a nice breakfast, burritos and pastries in here for the track meet, and that was a great donation from Education Credit Union. I just reached out to Happy State Bank because I've been noticing lots of Happy State Bank scoreboards and things everywhere, and I reached out to Nathan Allison. He's the Happy State Bank president in Borger, and our current need is a scorer's table in the gym because it's falling apart. Anyway, they're going to they're going to match us, pay for half of the scorer's table up to $12,000. So they'll pay $6,000, so we can get a $12,000 table. So Coach Bennett's looking into what's the best table for us. So we can also have that ready when our gym's new. We'll also have a nice functional scorer's table that's not broken. So super excited about getting that through Happy State Bank. And then as far as Miss McCowan called me today and our Blue Bonnet Learning. So Region 16 has people over them as far as the grants and everything for Blue Bonnet Learning. And since our school is making such progress and they're doing so well, they're calling us a model school. And so they're coming out tomorrow and they're going to observe our teachers and our administrators because they're doing such a great job. They want to see what we're doing, how we're getting this progress. And so we're going to have several big wigs on our campus elementary school tomorrow and observing how we're doing so well with this new program we're rolling out. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm proud of the hard work that the elementary schools put into that, and Ms. Carter's been she'll be part of that tomorrow as well. Super excited. Courtney and I were right on track with the refined ADA, and I put change from November, but it was really from December. I am going to file a low attendance waiver for the 2 days in December that we have this kiddo sick, so I'll bring that to you next board meeting. That will help with our refined ADA in elementary school on those days, so we're not due for that too. And I built your calendar, and I just needed to confirm that you guys are still all on for Team of 8 training next Wednesday. So I'll confirm with Region. I talked to him at the UIL realignment meeting, but I'll call him and make sure tomorrow he's good. I just tell him that we're still good. I feel we're all still available. And then I'll have dinner for us that night too, next week. Yes, 6. Yes.
We'll do 5:30.
Yeah, I'll have it here before, so whenever I'll have to be here by 5:30. And yeah, we've actually had 5 students enroll since our meeting in January, which was just short time ago.
Good, thank you very much. Couple things. One, at the meeting tomorrow night, whoever attends, we're not going to be there as board member, we'll be there as public. So all questions will go to Kim. We won't answer any questions. That'll be Kim's job now. You'll be there as public. Represent your family, so I guess if you have questions, they can ask questions. But that's what it's going on. If you make it, just want to let you know. Because they start seeing a bunch of us in here, and they might start asking a bunch of questions.
You asked, I don't have an answer.
You help get arrested.
But if
Okay.
over 4 of us are there, it's a quorum, so.
Oh.
And Chad said he wouldn't be there.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll set the date for next month. Looks like, the 11th would be the normal day, correct? Anybody? Okay. No, 11th or team of 8? No,
No, that's this one.
that's right.
The 11th is
11th is
spring
next
break.
March. 11th.
Oh yeah, the 11th is spring break.
I thought the spring break was the 16th.
Not yeah.
Yeah,
Through the 13th.
you wanna go?
Is it? I thought we had to change it to the Frank Phillips.
We changed it to that.
To
It was
which one?
the 9th or the 13th.
So we changed it to the 9th to the 13th?
Spring break.
Okay. I thought we changed
So
it
do
the
we
other way,
wanna-
so I'm totally wrong.
Weekend?
Go with the 18th or 4th?
Like they did.
Let's go with 18th. Okay. So, 6 o'clock, March the 18th. Okay. Well, I'm going to call us into executive session. Deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, and dismissal of public officer, employee, Texas Government Code 551074, and personnel matters regarding, spill on personnel matters regarding the campus administration. And we'll discuss personnel, Texas Government Code 551074, discussion regarding superintendent contract and compensation. Call us in at 7:05. Got a closed session at 7:55. We have a recommendation on the table. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the superintendent's contract as presented, which includes a pay increase beginning July 1st, 2026, and a term of February 4th, 2026 through June 30th, 2029.
We have a motion by Doug. Do I have a second? Second by Josh. All in favor? All approved? Motion passes. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug. We adjourned at 7:56.